Hey, Tasha.
Hi, how are you?
Why am I always the last one? Why are you the first one? Why am I the last one? How are you, Tasha?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
How? Are you ready for tonight's chat? I know.
I'm so ready. I'm super excited about our guest this evening. She's very special to me.
And I'm looking forward to tonight's chat because this is going to be a cool one. A young lady leading an international business. Like that's pretty awesome. I love it.
So let's do some introductions.
Yes, I am Sharon Porter, and that is
Tasha Howland. I'm in Maryland.
And I'm in North Carolina, and we are the Accountability Queens. And so as the Accountability Queens, we have been accountability partners for about 9 years now.
We really should be more like definite about that answer.
It's a shame that I'm not more definite, but it's been a long time. So I'm always trying to think, how old is Peyton? How old is Peyton?
Right.
So we've been accountability partners for 9 years, and what we've done somewhat organically, but it has worked out to be so important to us. We've helped each other set goals and meet those goals by holding each other accountable, and we have now for the past 9 years. And many people think that when you have an accountability partner, it's about business goals, and it's not. I mean, it's about every area of your life, be it spiritual, health, mental health, financial, spiritual, relationships. We have been there to see each other through it all and to become the women that we really want to be. So,
right. Yep.
So,
I just want to let our audience know that I'm watching the comments. We are so happy that you join us each Saturday evening, and I want to make sure that I can give a shout out. So please let us know that you're on with us tonight. I see Sherry. Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Gail is also with us tonight.
Who is?
Gail.
Oh, hi, Gail. And so let's talk about our week. Let's talk about our week and being accountable.
Auntie is in the house as well.
Hi,
Aunt. All right. Yeah. Let's talk about your week. You are
I was on vacation.
You was on vacation. It's nice.
I was on vacation, not my normal vacation, but a much needed, necessary vacation. I was home. Yeah. I completely disconnected from it all and so needed it.
And even some of me, I'm just saying. This connection included me. And I, was trying to be respectful. Balance is very important. And
yes,
giving you your time to, let your mind be clear. I hope you enjoyed your time off.
I did enjoy it. And anyone who knows me knows I'm big on being in balance. And so my life was definitely going out of balance with work and just, COVID and all that's going on in the world. And so, coming back into center is absolutely critical for me. So that time worked out. So I missed you. You may not have talked to me as much as you normally talk to me, but I did miss you. I did think about you often.
It seems like everyone missed you because Auntie and Miss Gail over here saying they missed you too.
I was deep cover this week. I was definitely deep cover this week. But
I hope you got some good rest.
I did.
And so my job this coming week is to get you back in the saddle.
You already know what it is because it is hard for me to come. I mean, here's what I want to say about being in balance. I didn't work out this week either. And I've been still recovering from my back injury from the car accident. And we've been walking in the mornings, or I realized that working out just helps my energy level. Because I was like, I'm really doing nothing, which is good sometimes. It's good.
Right.
But now I got to get back up, and I'm like, I had to get up. It was a challenge this morning. I did it, but it was a challenge this morning for sure.
Yeah, I feel you. I did that challenge with Leslie. Was it in August or July? But trying to close all of our rings.
Oh, on the iPhone.
Watch every day. And so I was exercising every day and I was like, whoo, I'm tired. And then the whole next month, I was like, oh, I did that last month. I'm over that. Like, 5 days a week, I think is plenty, right?
Yeah, but it does do something for you. It does do something for your energy levels. And I ate like crap, but I'm getting back on the wagon. I got plenty of water. I'm back on my protein shakes that I drink religiously. So
shout out to Oregon.
Shout out to Oregon. I tell you, I keep those people in business.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so let's talk about our guest this week.
Yes.
Right? We have a young Yolima Taborda Rojas.
Yes.
As I try to affect whatever Spanish I learned in my younger years. She is, well, let's talk about how you know Yolima.
Listen, I met Yolima over Skype. We had our first conversation over Skype, and she agreed to come to the United States to help my family with my daughter. So she was my first au pair, and we have a very close relationship. And still to this day, I'm so happy that she's still here in the United States. She is like a daughter to me. And
girl, how old are you?
I know, right?
Girl.
I seem to be getting older. I mean, I guess that's how it works, but her parents, I think, are just really young. Actually, she's very young, right? So I'm really not that old.
Listen, I don't know. It's all about how you say it. But let's just say, here's a young lady, for those people who are watching, she came to this country as an au pair, and now she's an entrepreneur, and she's launched an international coffee company. Right. And so that's why we're talking to her today, because that's amazing. Like that's just amazing in and of itself. And
even from day one, when I met her, she's always been very determined, and she knew what she wanted to do and went after it. So I'm not surprised at all at the success that she's having these days.
And I remember her she cooked at your house, and she made a very special thing that she has now agreed to put on YouTube so I can practice it at home, because it's very good. It's like, it's this, or if anyone's listening, it's like this salad with cabbage and avocado and lime and cilantro, something I would never have put together, but it was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, so let's welcome to the stage Miss Yolima Taborda Rojas. Hi, Yolima.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for joining.
I'm good. Thank you. I am good. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here with you.
We're excited to have you for sure. All right, Yolima.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So tell everyone, how did you start off, and decide to go and start your own coffee company?
Well, I am from Colombia, and I actually grew up at a coffee farm. My parents are coffee producers, so I grew up learning about coffee and growing coffee and selling the coffee inside Colombia. And then I ended up going to college, thankfully, and I finished college and I studied business management. And then I really wanted to do something with my family's farm in the future. Like maybe start a roasting business, but a roasting business in Colombia was super expensive because you need a big investment to buy equipment and to register it. And as coffee farmers, we didn't really have that type of budget. So I thought that maybe I'll do it sometime in the future once I saved up some money to do it. And then once I finished college, I entered this program called Upper Care when I had the fortune to meet Tasha, and she was my host mom. She's still my American mom, like my only American mom to this day. So I came here and my eyes opened to the real coffee world. I thought I knew about coffee when I was in Colombia because, I mean, like if you grow up at the farm, you really know about coffee, but I really didn't know anything after we sold the coffee. We didn't even drink our own coffee. We drank like instant coffee because we didn't have like the equipment or the knowledge or the possibilities to process our coffee up to the point where we could have a cup of our own coffee. Wow. So when I came here, I had one day I went to a coffee shop and I had a cup of coffee that was $5. And I was like, what? One cup of coffee? And farmers don't get paid even $1 per a pound. And you can make a lot of coffee with a pound of coffee. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, somewhere here in the middle, like the money is there because people are not complaining because they're paying $5 for a cup of coffee.
Right.
So I realized that, maybe we could just sell our coffee here directly instead of selling it in Colombia. So after I finished my year as an au pair, I switched my visa to a student visa. And then under that student visa, I started a business. And it was just a business, like it wasn't yet about coffee. But during that time that I was like in the process of getting my student paperwork and all of that, I started researching about more about coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I started going to coffee shops and eventually to coffee roasteries, which are the ones that do the process right after we farmers complete the process of giving them the coffee. They are the ones that roast it and process it, and then eventually you can drink a cup of coffee. So I started talking to some of them about, hey, we have coffee farms, and they are approached all the time apparently by people that say that we have coffee farms. And I'm like, I'm probably the only one here that has a coffee farm in Colombia. And no, like they're like, oh, well, people come here all the time telling us they have coffee farms, but how are you going to get the coffee here? Because we're not getting the coffee here. We're not importers, we are roasters. So I started talking to other roasters, and I'm like, I can maybe roast the coffee in Colombia and bring it here. And then
Yeah.
I realized that they say, no, we don't want roasted coffee. We want to roast it ourselves because we want
Yeah.
fresh coffee. And so it was when I learned that freshly roasted coffee of high quality is very different to just any coffee. So coffee
Mm.
really, it has a scale. So the specialty coffee industry is kind of a separate industry of the coffee industry, which is
Okay.
huge. Coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. So the coffee
Wow.
industry is
Wow.
huge, and there is a lot of money on it. So it's like a lot of room for everyone. So then I told them, well, we already have the green beans. I don't even have to buy a roasting machine because they don't want roasted coffee. They want green beans.
Right.
So I kind of opened my eyes to me like, oh, I don't really have to do that much. Maybe I have to, but not as much as I thought, because I thought I have to process the coffee and get permissions inside Colombia to pack it and bring it. So once I realized that they wanted what we already had, the only thing that I had to do was to kind of find a way to bring it here. And it was
Okay.
when I started to
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, so it was when I started to do some research about how to start a business here and how to register it. And it turns out it was very easy because I could do it all through the internet. And then I did some research in Colombia. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, my screen froze, so I was not sure.
Okay.
So I started doing some research in Colombia as well to see how I get the beans here. And I started bringing samples from my family's farms to roasters. And I had already made some relationships with roasters that were willing to kind of mentor me and explain to me how the process works. So they tasted the coffees and they told me, it's good, this is the score, you need to improve this or that, and how to get it to a certain point where it will be worth a good coffee. Like coffee has when you taste coffee, you can give it a score between 1 and 100, and the
Uh-huh.
coffees that are above 80 points, those are considered specialty coffee. And the closer they get to 100, the more special they are, and the more money you can get for it. And
So tell me, how does your family feel about you being able to expand their opportunities?
well, at first they were very scared because they didn't understand very well how that was gonna work. And I told my dad, look, I don't have a lot of money to do this, and I'm gonna need your help because we're gonna have to risk a few bags of coffee and see if it works out. And if it
Yeah.
works out, then we both win. And if it doesn't, you probably lose part of your coffee. Hopefully you don't. But that I needed that help. So my dad is like, he's always been very positive and very open to risk. My mom is a little more scared. and more conservative. So she's not as open to risk, and so she was
Yeah.
a little nervous that that how were we gonna do this and how was it gonna work. But the only way I had to know if it worked or not was to try it out. So my
Yeah.
dad helped me a lot, and he was very supportive. My mom was very supportive too, but like more reserved. And then I got a small loan and brought the first shipment of like 7 bags of coffee. The bags
Okay.
are 154 pounds each. And I was hoping to learn the process of how to, bring coffee into the country and also get some customers. I had already made sure that the coffee was good enough and that it was of high quality and that it was a specialty coffee that Rose will buy it for a premium. So I brought that first shipment on a plane because it was very little bags and not enough to bring it on a container ship.
Sure.
So I brought them on a plane with the help of other exporter in Colombia, and then I imported it here through my business, and that allowed me to learn how to work the business. There were a lot of things that I couldn't learn because it's very different to bring through by plane that on the ship. So,
Sure.
but I did learn a lot of things in that way. And my family was very supportive once the coffee got here alive.
Sure. Well, that's great. So now tell me, what's been the reaction to now that you've gotten some roasters and we know that your coffee is in shops all over the United States? What's been the reaction to roasters to your coffee?
Oh, it's been really good. I have been able to establish really nice relationships with roasters, very close relationships too, even to the point where several of them have been able to go visit our farms and meet the farmers that
Oh,
grow the coffee, which is like it's really great for one farmer to meet the person that is roasting the coffee, because usually you don't know where your coffee goes. Like we for many years we didn't know where it went and it was blended. So roasters are also very happy to go and meet that person that is roasting their coffee and be able to bring them a bag of a roasted coffee with like the logo, of an American roastery, and then the name of the farm to the farmer and give it to them.
yeah.
So that's very amazing for me, and I really enjoy like seeing how I'm able to create that connection with the farmer and the roaster. And also I've realized that roasters, the more they know about the farms, like the more they care about the farmers as well. And
Good.
that's like what I'm trying to get my business to get to a point where all of our roasters know all of our farmers, and they develop this direct relationship where a roaster feels comfortable to like ask a farmer to process a coffee a certain way just for them, and then hopefully be able to bring some farmers here to meet the roasteries and see the other side of the process too, because it's like two different worlds: the
Yeah.
farming coffee world and then the roasting and the consuming world is totally different. So I think being able to kind of connect it a little bit is very good, and roasters really appreciate that type of relationship
There's a
and the
question
transparency.
our one of our viewers, and I have a question too. So, how are the middlemen who've now been cut out of the process? How are they feeling?
Well, the industry is huge, so it's not like I'm making. I'm working with 6 farms, but there are thousands and thousands of farms. So I'm representing my family and some of my neighbors right now, and I'm trying to like there is I'm the only one that has the coffee. I pay for the services because you still need the process. You still need the egg to export it, and to export it, you still need to have an exporter or someone that is going to file the documentation of the exporting part. You still need a broker in the country of origin, a broker in the country of where it's coming to. You need a logistics person, like the
Yeah.
trucks, all of that. Like I cannot drive the trucks or do all of that by myself. So I do have to pay those people to provide those services to me. But the thing is that the coffee is not being sold from one person to another to another to another. I buy the coffee and then the coffee is mine. I just pay for those services and I give it to the roasters. So I do cut off some people, and that's the idea, because if they are not necessary in the process, if we can do it directly, is good. But in some cases, if it's tons of coffee or that, that I could maybe not provide. It's very difficult to cut off all of the middlemen because there is always going to be the need for certain middlemen in the chain. And at least in the specialty coffee industry, it's very easy to do, or it's very possible. But if you see the whole coffee industry, for these huge importers that import and sell tons and tons of coffee, it's going to be very hard for them to buy coffee directly from the farm. They have to work with large exporters as well that are doing that work at the farm and that are buying those coffees. And those huge exporters work with buyers that go and buy from little farms. So for me, as a small kind of boutique specialty coffee importer that sells really high quality coffee that is transparent, because it's like that's what I sell to, right? I don't sell to like Starbucks.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
how has the life of the farmers changed, and more specifically, does your family and the other 6 farmers that you represent, do they only now sell to you and not to the large industry, or is it half and half?
No, they all, most of them, there is one that sells one part to the industry and one part to me that has a bigger farm. But the other ones, all of them sell the majority of the harvest, like all of the coffee that is exportable, like really good quality, they sell to me, like the main harvest. And then all of the other coffee, the fly crop, because I'm still not able to, all of the production of a farm is not going to be of high quality. Some coffee is defective, some coffee cannot be sold. But all of the main harvest, they sell to me, and I'm able to guarantee a price to them because the coffee is traded in the market. You never, as a farmer, you don't know the price that you're going to get. So the whole year, and you get only one harvest a year. Some of them get a couple or fly crop. But if you get a harvest a year and you have a business that is a farm, and at the end of the year, after working really hard the whole year, and you don't know how much money you're going to make. So how do you plan, right? How do you plan or save money? Or if you maybe want to get into a loan, but you don't know if you're going to have the money to, how much coffee you're going to sell, but the coffee that you sell might be sold under cost of production if the coffee price is really low that year or at that point. So that instability is really bad for the farmers, and it doesn't allow them to grow. And being able to have a price that is fixed, like I'm able to tell them, look, this year I'm going to pay you this price. And I try to guarantee like the margin, the profit margin, rather than just any price, because the profit margin at the end is what's going to make sense. Like if I tell them I'll pay $3, like $3 for a pound of coffee at the farm gate, it's really high. But if it's like a really difficult coffee to produce that costs them $3 to produce, then it doesn't make, like, it's the same thing, right? They're not making any money. So the idea is that we evaluate their cost, make sure that the cost is like, what is the cost? Because many farmers don't even know what the cost is. And then from there, we see what profit they need to make and how we increase that profit slowly as we try new experiments at the farm and new coffees. And then I can come here and present those to roasters that will be willing to pay premium for those coffees. And then that will translate to more money for the farmer and hopefully evenly.
There's another question. Go ahead.
What did your family say when you told them people pay $5 for a cup of coffee without even blinking?
Oh, they couldn't believe it. Because if you multiply that for how many pesos you get, that's a lot of pesos. Like the dollar and the peso, the exchange rate fluctuates a lot. Yeah. But no matter what, like if you multiply $5 for how much it is in pesos, it's going to be a lot of pesos. And it doesn't even translate remotely to what you get for a pound of coffee. Of course, I don't, I know that it's never going to be the same that you sell it in Colombia rather than you sell it here, because there is a lot of cost involved in the export, import, all of that. There is a lot of cost, but at least there is, I know that the farmers can make profit. It's not like because the market is bad. There is money there. So I think it just needs to be redistributed or done properly, because the farmers don't know. So if you don't know, people take advantage of you. Sure. And they don't know anything. They don't know if their coffee is good. They don't know the score. They don't know how much they can sell it for or how to sell it. So,
Wow.
So what's
yeah,
your ultimate goal with Paisa Coffee?
my main goal is to educate farmers so that they learn about their coffees and gain more power about what they have. And also, I want to be able to create more relationships between roasters and farmers and educate the final coffee consumer so that they learn, what to look for when they look for a cup of coffee, and how the coffee that they're drinking impact the farming communities in the countries of origin, because it's a big impact that you can make just drinking a cup of coffee a day. And
Mm.
choosing where to drink that cup of coffee makes a big difference for the farmers at the end of the day. So if you decide to go to a roastery that is working directly with a farmer, that money for sure is going to the farmer. But if the roastery doesn't know where that coffee is coming from, then it's very unlikely that that farmer is getting as much money as he could be getting. And so I want to create more of those relationships and educate the final consumer as well, so that people learn about coffee farming and how the coffee process works, and start like asking questions to roasters and to importers about how much farmers are getting paid, how good this coffee is, what's the score, and kind of become more demanding on those things, on transparency and quality,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that type of information, so that the industry can become a little bit more transparent and the farmer can be a little bit more taken into account.
And
Good.
anybody that follows you on social media, you do a lot of education on your social media site about the actual coffee farming process and coffee cupping and tasting and that sort of thing here in the States. So I think you're doing a great job on the education piece.
Thank you. I've been trying to.
From our audience, the question says, what brands are using your coffee?
So my none of the coffee you'll find on my brand, because I import and I sell like the raw product. So before it's being cooked, like to say it that way. So I have a bunch of like small roasteries around in the US, in several states. So like in Baltimore, there is Wandu Coffee, Vent Coffee. Maybe I should put a list or send you a list so that you can share it with people, because I will have to give you like all of the names. In Alexandria, it's Swings Coffee. In Vienna, there is Cafe Amori, and like that I have a list of roasters of that type that sell our coffees. Now the thing that I do have is all of these roasters highlight the farms. They don't like they promote the coffees, but they highlight the farm and the farmer, and all of those farms and farmers, they are in my website, paisacoffee.net. And if you
Yes.
find a roastery that doesn't have them, you can tell them to get them, so you can get them through them. But yeah, that's and you can buy them online through those roasteries as well. And right now, especially with COVID, it will really support them, because many of these roasteries work directly with restaurants and coffee shops that are not being able to fully operate. So
Yeah.
if you buy coffee directly from a roastery rather than buying from the big chain supermarket, that will help those roasters to stay in business, because they are not huge, so they depend on their customers, and then I depend on them, and the farmers depend on me. So it really supports the system of the specialty coffee industry if people can buy directly from just buy from a small coffee roastery that does direct trade and that works directly with farmers, or not direct trade, but that works directly with coffee farmers and have like
Yeah.
single farm coffee, single origin, and that can give you information about those coffee producers.
Yeah.
So who or what? Because we're the accountability queens, and so we're all about accountability here. Who or what holds you accountable in business?
My family and my customers, my husband and my friends, like everybody around me that knows that I'm on business and that are expecting me to do, well, and to like sell coffee. I feel very accountable to them. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think myself and the expectations that I have of myself and my goals in business, held me accountable to do, what I need to do in order to grow the business.
Nice. Gail asked, how long have you been in business?
With the import business, I've been between 3 and 4 years with the import of the green coffee beans. And then in coffee, I've been my whole life. I remember you told me one day when Tasha was helping me she was helping me at the beginning of my business to write my website. And I'm like, I don't have any experience in coffee yet. And she's like, you have 22 years of experience. I was 22. She's like, you have 22 years of experience in coffee, write that. I'm like, oh yeah, I do. She's like, you lived on a farm. You don't have to say that that's the reason. You explain that later when they contact you for your 22 years of experience. And I'm like, well, that's true. I did. So I do have my whole life of experience with coffee because I grew up at the farm. I was literally born at the farm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So coffee is in your blood for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. For sure.
I had another question. I forgot what it was, though. Any other questions from our audience?
Well, no, I've got one more question before we go to our lightning round.
Yeah.
All right. So now, if you don't mind, how old are you now?
I'm 10.
Loser? Uh-oh. Did we lose? Yolima, can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I said I just turned 27.
Okay. So you just turned 27. You've launched this international business. What is your greatest, where do you see yourself 5-10 years from now?
5-10 years from now, I hope that I will be working with 5-10 times the amount of farms that I'm working with right now. And I hope that I will be able to have a coffee lab in Colombia and train farmers. And I would like to have a coffee lab here as well. Hopefully that will be within the next 10 years. Yeah, and I want my business to get to a point where it's like very stable and running very easily. I don't know if that's possible with any business, but I do want to get to that point. I want to grow the business. Yeah, I want to grow the business and be able to go to Colombia much more often than I am being able to go now.
Okay.
And help many more farmers too.
All right, last question says, does she drink coffee and what kind? I think it's really more how often? How many cups a day?
Yeah, I drink a lot of Colombian coffees, specifically from my family's farms, but I also really enjoy Ethiopian coffees. And I just enjoy any coffee that tastes good and that is processed like good and that you don't have to put any cream.
Okay. Well, we have come to the part, Yolima, where we do a lightning round where Tasha asks, you may or may not be familiar with Inside the Actor Studio, but there are 11 questions that she will ask you, and just so we get to know you better.
Yeah. So just quick answers.
Okay.
All right. You ready? What's your favorite word?
My favorite word, ice cream.
What's your least favorite word?
Inferior.
Okay.
All right. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Music.
Music.
Okay.
All right. What turns you off? Just got a little delay.
We got a little delay here. Say that one more time.
Negative people or negativity?
Okay.
Negativity. Yeah. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite curse word?
Shit.
All right. What sound or noise do you love?
The sound of water on a river.
All right. And what sound or noise do you hate?
The sound of traffic.
Traffic.
Yeah.
All right. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Human resources.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And what profession would you not like to attempt?
A politician.
All right. This one's a duplicate, but who or what holds you accountable?
My family and my friends.
Mm-hmm. And if you believe in heaven, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You made it.
I love that God always has a personality, right? On that question. That's great.
That's great. All right. Well, Yolima, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you
Thank you
sharing
so
your
much.
story, taking time out of your Saturday to join us. For anyone who wants to get in touch with Yolima and Paisa Coffee, you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Paisa Coffee. And then also you can go to their website at paisacoffee.net. And as always, this is Tasha and Sharon, and you can follow us as well on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Accountability Queen. So we'd love to hear from you. If there's a topic that you'd like for us to discuss, we'd love to hear from you. Next week, we are talking about voting because, yes, your vote has power, and this is not a game. So definitely join us next weekend, 6 o'clock. We're getting into it.
So proud of you, Yolima. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yolima.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. I had a really good time. And congratulations to you too. And thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.